Residents across parts of Johannesburg and Greater Gauteng regions have been advised to stock up reasonably on water this weekend ahead of a scheduled maintenance by Randwater. It will last from the 24th of June until the 29th of July. The scheduled operations include a project to connect two major reservoirs in the Waterval to improve local water supply, as well as other developments. But officials say this will not result in a total shutdown of the water network, but rather a reduction of the flow of taps, or the flow to taps. Dr. Ferrial Adam is a Watercan's Executive Manager who's now joining us this morning to have the conversation and also to bring some clarity. Dr. Adam, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us. So listening to the press briefing yesterday, it seems as though that there are a number of projects that are taking place at the same time. Is it normal to have so many projects happening at the same time, considering the impact that it will have on residents as well as people who rely on Joburg water supply?
I think that, well, usually it does. And good morning. The challenge is that because for so long we haven't done really well on maintenance, so we're finding that we have to do it, there's a lot more that has to happen. But the important thing for us to note is that this maintenance is important. It's what we've been asking for. So we need to all kind of figure out how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. And let's now speak about what exactly it is that we're dealing with here. The number of projects, for instance, the project also to connect two major reservoirs in Waterval to improve the local water supply.
So I think even in terms of that, right, it's not, people are asking why is it taking that long? And we need to remember that when we're dealing with water, it's not the same as you're dealing with electricity. It's not a switch on, switch off. So I think that those kind of major projects have been in the wings for a long time, and they're finally coming to fruition. So this is the part where they're going to connect, the reservoirs, and people need the water in the future. I just think that there's two issues. One is the communication between Randwater and Joburg Water, and then the communication between Joburg Water and
residents.
Johannesburg.
Yeah.
Yes, and residents. Yeah. So that's been a bit lacking, and I think the reason people are panicking so much is because if we look around us, if you look at the east of Joburg, Kensington area, if you look at places like Fairlands, where there's places that have not had water for 2 weeks, the burst pipes that are continuous, they fix a pipe, it bursts more in 3 places. How are they going to save water because they're already having these issues? So that's the challenge. And Joburg Water has not come out to actually alleviate people's fears.
Yeah, so this maintenance project does not necessarily deal with the leaks, right?
No, it doesn't. But what I'm saying to you is that because there's that infrastructure is failing on the one hand, people don't have trust that this kind of maintenance that Randwater is doing is not going to affect them harder. So that's why people are panicking.
Yeah.
I mean, even the advice to stockpile your water and, and I think the word they used was with kind of caution. How do you tell people how much water they need to keep at home? They're already having these water cuts.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question about what does it mean to plan for these well, they say it's not going to be a total outage, but just a reduction in the flow of water. How exactly do you do that as a resident?
Exactly. I mean, I think that's the thing that people need to realize is that this maintenance is important. So yes, it's not something we're happy about, but it really is important, and Randwater needs to do it. It's what we've been asking for in terms of the whole infrastructure system. Joburg Water needs to come out and speak to people and be present and visible. I know that in some places that has happened, but it's not across Johannesburg. The other thing that needs to happen is that we, as the citizens of Johannesburg, I think this is a good test for us because we do use a lot of water. So we need to kind of be more mindful of how we're using our water. I think for that month, it is the winter month. We shouldn't be using it in our gardens. We shouldn't be using it on pavings.
Yeah.
And that's something we need to be more mindful about how we use our water. We need to also reuse our water. If you really want to use your water in your garden, if you can take your water from washing your dishes, then use that afterwards. But I think we need to look at recycling, reusing in that time. And this must not just be for a month. Our water issues are not going away. We need to become more mindful and change our relationship
Yep.
with the water that we have.
I want to go back to a point that you raised around communication. So Joburg Water speaks about 37 days of maintenance, and we're running infographics on our screen, and you have the various areas that will be affected. If you look at this one, planned maintenance at Dale's site, for instance. So you have a date there, Iconhof, for instance, as well, June 27th until July the 12th. So it's not the entire 37 days, it seems, that people will be affected for in certain areas. So it seems as though that there will be areas that will be affected for a couple of days and other areas that will be affected for a couple of days. But the communication around it for me is what's not clear.
Also, the thing that people are not trusting is that it's been difficult to follow clear dates before.
Yeah.
So when things have gone down, and the Iconhof one is one of them, it affects a large population of Johannesburg. And the kind of, if something goes wrong, how do we know that they'll communicate properly and this is not going to be an extended thing? This is the concern that people have. And what needs to happen to alleviate this is better communication and just be out there. Just tell us every single day. We are now starting at Iconhof. It should take us 5 days. This is what's happening. Send the media the pictures of the posters or whatever they need to do so that people can feel relaxed. It's when you don't have information that you panic.
Yeah. So that communication part, very important. Do you think that they should adopt the ESCOM model? I know with the Minister of Energy, for instance, every Monday we had a press brief. We have a press briefing from him, Minister of Electricity, rather. We have a press briefing. So you say a daily update is what is required. And by the way, we're speaking here about a constitutional need here. It is water, basic need that we are speaking about.
Absolutely. I think that that's so needed in terms of what we're going through in terms of infrastructure and during this, kind of process. I think also we need to find out where's City of Joburg? Where's the mayor on this? City of Joburg Water reports to City of Joburg. We just need to see an organized kind of war room approach where Rand Water, Joburg Water, City of Joburg are dealing with this, they're on it, they are going to be handling it, informing people, having more, transparency and information. It's the same kind of thing that's now been set up at national government, which is called the Water Security Platform. It includes civil society, business, local municipalities, national government, all looking at how they are going to approach and deal with leaks in Gauteng. We need something like that for Joburg.
Dr. Adam, just finally also, you spoke about earlier the dates and the concerns that residents may have that you will not meet the specific deadline to ensure that water is up and running. And this also speaks to the issue around tenders and water tankers. Is that a major problem for the city of Joburg, do you think, if we speak about Joburg Water when it comes to issuing tenders for water tankers?
So I know that they have issued previously, obviously, because we had the water cuts before. We are concerned that there's the potential for the kind of water mafia that's springing up everywhere. I think you may have seen that the mayor of Tshwane cancelled a tender last week, because of concerns around the kind of water tanker mafia that's rising up. I think that as long as things are done transparently, and that's what we're saying, is let us know how this process is going, let us know who gets the tender, and we monitor that so that it doesn't become the new normal that we need to depend on water tanks. The other thing that I need to say, Alton, is that, at the height of the water issues in Johannesburg, there have been community people that have been alerting others to boreholes, that have been trying to get water to the elderly. We've been through that. Has City of Joburg prepared for that? It's not enough to tell us as citizens, you need to, when it's in your area, you need to stock up on water. Because there are clinics, there are elderly places, elderly people, there are, retirement homes that people can't carry buckets of water. So how are they going to assist in that regard? That's where we need Joburg Water's communication.
Yeah. Dr. Adam, thank you so much for your time. Dr. Ferrial Adam is Executive Manager at Watercan. Really appreciate your time.